I greet and salute the entire community of TBCians. This is your servant, Pastor Isaac Indego Nelson. It is always a pleasure coming to you with some of these broadcasts. And today I am directing this audio broadcast or video broadcast to all my colleague ministers, men of God, pastors in TBC community. I salute you, men of God, and I want you to do me a favor by forwarding this audio to every minister that you know, every pastor, either in TBC or those that are not even in TBC, because we have to all come together to help build this godly agenda. This is a wake-up call for us to understand our purpose of being in TBC. And I want to draw your attention to this, that your presence in TBC wasn't your making, though you decided, but behind it there was a divine spirit leading your decision. The Bible says in the book of Philippians chapter 2, as you read from the verse of 13, that we should work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who work in us both to will and to do to his good pleasure. For it is God who work in us both to will and to do for his good pleasure. And for that matter, your decisions are not yours as long as you are led by the Spirit. Your presence in TBC was divinely led by God, because there are so many network agenda, there are so many programs in the universe. Why have you not been in them, but you have found yourself in this? There is a purpose. Even if you have been in several ones, this one has a unique purpose. One of our major reasons for being in this community as men of God is to serve as catalyst, an engine of progress. We should understand that God have never sent his children to a community without expecting them to serve as light. For he said, we are the light of the world. And the city that is built on a hill cannot be hidden. And you being the light, your presence in the community must produce light. We being salt, our presence in the community must produce sweetness, flavor, savor. That is what we have to understand. When God took his children of Israel even to a captivity, he expected them to shine as light and become catalyst and engine of progress. Therefore, he spoke through his prophet Jeremiah that as you go to that land of captivity, pray and seek for the welfare, the well-being of that community. For in the peace of the community, you will have your peace. For that matter, we don't have to be part of critics, negative critics, people that are pulling TBC down. No, we have to rather be part of the front leaders, champion the affairs of this community, helping to criticize constructively, help to build and shaping the community to achieve its intended humanitarian and loving purpose. You know, I am so happy all the time about this agenda, and I'm invested in giving it my all, because when you come closer to the leader, Christy Kringler, you see clearly a person that is filled with the Spirit of God, a person that is filled with love and respect for humanity. I don't know, the millionaires out there, how many of them are so humanitarian, champion the affairs of the entire universe to liberate the world, but not champion an affair to help their family? You know, we are so selfish that everyone is out there pulling a champion an agenda that will benefit him and his family. But here we come, we are seeing a person, yes, indeed, a millionaire before creating TBC, but his desire is to see the whole world becoming like him. And that is godliness. And we have to understand that we have a good role to play by helping this man achieve his vision. Moses agenda would have been futile if he had not gotten godly people like Aaron, godly people like Hur, godly people like Joshua, godly people like Caleb, godly people like Miriam and Co. that were supporting this man all the time in prayers, in advice. Jethro from the Gentile community will still come around and give Moses godly advice and the way he have to manage the children of Israel. And therefore, our leader, Christy Kringler, needs support. He needs prayer warriors. He needs advisors. He needs people that will back him in his agenda so that he'll feel refreshed all the time, knowing that I have strong guys out there supporting me. Pastors, don't forget that the battle of TBC, the agenda of TBC is a battle against the battle between light and darkness. The battle between light and darkness. Yes, because any system in the world that is introduced to help liberate humanity from captivity, slavery, hunger, artificial scarcity, I'm telling you that system is against the existing one, that is tyranny, and that is totally taking advantage of people ignorance and people pain and suffering. And therefore, we have to understand that as we are standing in an opposite direction with the current economic system, we will by all means be opposed by the existing forces. Don't let you and I be misled to believe that the world is just as it is. There is no darkness. Even God, who created the world, said that he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And we are living in the light, being opposed by Luciferian kingdom that is operating in the darkness. And since from ancient of days, any system that is introduced to destroy their kingdom, they oppose it sharply. Why was Moses opposed here and there, frustrated here and there? Because the birth of Moses was intended to liberate the children of Israel from the captivity of Pharaoh. And for that matter, he was opposed here and there. Why was infant Jesus being opposed right from his birth? Because the birth of Jesus was to liberate humanity from slavery, from captivity, from suffering. And for that matter, when Jesus was born, there was an opposition from who? From the existing Herodian Luciferian kingdom. The kingdom of Herod was taking advantage of the pain and captivity and slavery of humanity, the ignorance of humanity. Herod and his genealogy were benefiting from it. Do you even know Herod wasn't an Israelite? Do you know he was from Indomia, somewhere Russia, a person from the genealogy of Edom, and he managed to be a king over Israel, in which it was written clearly in the laws that it is only an Israelite from the tribe of Judah that must be ascended throne as a king. But Herod from Indomia managed to enslave Israelites, blackmailed them to agree that he was a king with his great works and infrastructure development. He ascended the throne as a king. And Jesus coming to the world was to oppose his kingdom, deliver the children of Israel from that slavery. And for that matter, he quickly rose against Jesus right at the time that he was born. And here comes slaughtering and killing all babies at that stage in order to destroy Jesus. And the same thing applies to TBC. The presence of TBC in this world is to reshaping the affairs of the universe. Take the universe back to the Garden of Eden, reshaping things and cause things to be in abundance. Just imagine how beautiful and powerful it would be if all the coins in your wallet are being translated into liquidity and you are able to use them to buy things 100%. Imagine the kind of vans that you buy to propagate the gospel. Imagine the kind of infrastructure, cathedral, churches that you plant across the universe. Who told you are not powerful? You are very powerful. You are vested and filled with the Holy Spirit. You are loaded with revival. But the current system is oppressing gospel. It's oppressing ministry. Because when you want to do ministry, you have to be on the television. You have to buy vans. You have to build beautiful and powerful church buildings today. The modern day Christianity is no longer like the era in which we could plant churches under trees. We have gone far beyond that era. And therefore, if you want to strive in ministry alongside with your prayer, you need money. And TBC is here to put money into our pockets and to help us propagate the gospel. I just wanted to reason, God, man of God. Reason. And let's see how powerful it will be. How the world will be changed by one of us here, by two of us here, by 10 of us, hundreds of us, putting ourselves together in ministry. We will champion godliness. Today, it's unfortunate majority that are seen in the mainstream media are ministers that are in line with the current tyrannical and Luciferian kingdom. Pastors that are in line with them are people that are seeing the broad daylight. Pastors that are in opposition with the Luciferian kingdom are oppressed, suppressed by financial stress, and therefore we are not able to speak loud. And TBC has come to help you and I. And therefore, we should understand that we have to pray. We have to come together. We have to unite. We have to put ourselves together. When we are together, we'll be more powerful and stronger than we are now. And I know TBC is a cosmopolitan community. It's not a Christian community, but as long as we find ourselves there, we need to play our role. Yes, I know, the kingdom of Babylon wasn't a godly and a Christian community. But when Daniel, Shadrach, and Abednego was in that particular community, they helped transform the face of governance for Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar was in love with their systems, with their effort and their input. Yes. And for that matter, we find ourselves in TBC, we have a role to play by help to reshape the community. We have a prayer chain that has been developed and is placed in the Know It Your Lover. And the prayer chain is calling for all pastors across the globe, together with their church members, to support TBC agenda, to pray, to support the freedom of humanity. This is the era that the world needs prayer more than before, because the world have come to a point that it is being sharply opposed by the Committee of 300. It's being sharply, managed and manipulated by the global elite, who has their root far deep rooted from the kingdom of darkness. And humanity, any decision that they take stand to affect humanity at large. And we found ourselves as pastors must unite, because one of the things they have managed to succeed, by weakening the spiritual kingdom is division and diversity. And therefore, please, this is a wake-up call. We all need to rise and pray. I want all of us to come on a platform. Any pastor, let's put ourselves on a platform where you talk, where I talk, where we all put our heads together. We help one. We are going to advise each other how we can help champion the affairs of TBC with our giftings, with our calling, with our mandate and faiths. We are also going to see how best we can help promote the prayer chain, which operate 24/7 prayer chain globally. Just imagine how powerful it will be if we are able to form a prayer chain in which one person from a part of the universe is praying at every minute. Every minute, someone is praying. And as you drop, another person takes it from a different jurisdiction. You drop, another person take it from a different continent. You drop, another person takes it from a different country. You drop, another person takes it, and we keep shaping or passing the baton of prayer here and there until we see the liberation and freedom of humanity. We also have a role to play. Christy Kringler alone cannot help TBC. I always ask myself, why should such a godly agenda like TBC will be frustrated, will be maligned, and will be blackmailed here and there and scandalized as if it is a demonic system? But it is godly. It is full of light. We have to understand that there are forces ruling the world. And whatever we do, we don't have to forget about an opposition from the opposite side. when they sit down quietly without opposing TBC, we will take them by surprise and the world will be changed in a jiffy. And therefore, they will operate by frustrating us spiritually. And we need to oppose that frustration with prayer. When we come together, I believe we have what it takes to move TBC faster because the whole world is being championed by pastors, by godly leaders from different religious backing or background. And we have followers and we can help manage TBC. Don't forget, no great community have ever